Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another YouTube video. So if you're new to my channel guys, please be sure to subscribe as I post new videos 3 times a week, every single week, and today I'll be talking about bulking and whether or not bulking is necessary if you want to put on some muscle. So first, let's just explain what the concept of bulking is. So bulking is essentially when you consume a calorie surplus, meaning that you're eating more calories than you burn every day in an attempt to put on muscle mass. And recently, or like the past few years, a lot of people have been saying that you have to bulk in order to gain muscle, that like you can't put muscle on in a calorie deficit or if you're eating at maintenance, and that like eating in a surplus is super important if you want to put on mass. And I'm gonna explain to you guys in this video why bulking is not necessary to put on muscle. And first, I'm just gonna start out by saying that yes, eating in a calorie surplus like puts your body in the optimal environment for muscle protein synthesis and for muscle growth. But you know what else it's optimal for? Putting on fat. So this is the main con with bulking, is that most of the time you put on way too much fat than you would like, which is why in general I would never preach to someone to go on a bulk explicitly, like to eat in a large surplus of calories, just because there is no correlation between the bigger the surplus, the more muscle you gain. That's not how it works. And most of us that are in this sport or that lift weights, unless you're into powerlifting, that's completely different. I'm talking about bulking to gain muscle in order to make your physique look better. So from a purely like aesthetic point of view, so yeah, most of us want to look ripped at some point in our lives and have like defined muscles and visible muscles. So that means that you're gonna have to go through a phase where you cut your calories pretty or like relatively low in order to shed body fat and look good. So let's say you do a bulking phase first, but you put on loads of body fat when you bulk, and then when you have to cut, you have to go through like a strenuous amount of dieting and a very long period of dieting just because you went a bit too far on your bulk and you have a lot of body fat to lose. And we all know that the longer the cut or the more aggressive the cut, the more likely you are to lose strength and muscle. So here's like a scenario. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of scenarios here, because at the end of the day it all kind of boils down to the same thing. It just kind of depends on what you prefer doing. So let's say, okay, so all the numbers I'm going to be using here are like arbitrary. They have no intrinsic value to them. It's just like some like maths for you. So let's say you go on a bulk for 6 months and then you put on a total of 5 kilos of muscle, but you also put on quite a bit of fat. So you're going to need a very long dieting phase of 6 months in order to lose all that extra fat that you gained. However, because that dieting phase was so long afterwards, you also lost 8 kilo of muscle. So let's say your total, like your net muscle gain was 4 kilos. And then let's say somebody else is like, I'm just gonna, eat at maintenance or in a slight calorie like deficit for an entire year. That way I don't put on any body fat. That way I can gain muscle and stay lean at the same time. So that way it's gonna take them an entire year to gain muscle, but they only gain 4 kilos of muscle as opposed to the 5 kilos of muscle that the person that bulked did. However, that's over the course of the entire year. So although like the actual muscle gaining process was a lot slower, they gained 4 kilos of muscle throughout the year, and that's the same net amount of muscle gained as a person that went through a bulk and then a cut. So what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not saying that bulking is inherently wrong. Like, you do what you want. Like, if you like going through a phase where you're a bit chunkier, you're a bit fluffier, you're not as lean, you want that bigger look and you don't mind putting on more fat and you want to get stronger, then sure, go ahead, bulk. This is something that people do if they're trying to like power lift or get stronger at lifting weights, not necessarily just for like gaining muscle. And if you're willing to go through that dieting phase of 6 months right after in order to like lose the excess fat and potentially lose a bit of muscle and strength as well, then do it. The thing is, a lot of people tend to get way too carried away with their bulk anyway, and they never end up losing as much fat as they want to, because fat loss is hard, guys. Like, it takes dedication and effort and patience and just discipline to get shredded. And same goes with building muscle, which is why I think a more like holistic, more balanced approach is to just eat at maintenance or in a very very slight deficit. What I mean by slight deficit is like 100 calorie deficit. So you're not eating very little. You're still eating a very good amount of food that give you energy, and you can still build muscle in a deficit over the course of an entire year, and it'll be the same net gain as if you were to like bulk and then cut. Now, if you guys have been following me for a while, you'd be like, but wait, you've done 2 bulks and 2 cuts. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I go through phases where I'm like, look, I don't care if I put on fat because I just want to be able to have way more flexibility in my life. And it doesn't mean that you can't have this flexibility when you're like in a deficit. You can. I just choose to like bulk. Like, I understand the cons of it and I choose to do it. And the first time I chose to do it, I did it because I was trying to recover from an eating disorder as well, and because I was just fed up of like being really tiny. And I said to myself, if I can handle being a bit fluffier and carrying more body fat mentally, then I know that I have truly recovered. And I did that first bulk, and it was such a liberating feeling for me as well, and I really enjoyed it. And then this past year I did take it not too far. I think I mean my abs are still there, and I did gain like quite a bit of fat, but I have no regrets, and it was fun, and I don't regret anything I've done. But I think that now going forward, I will definitely try and stay leaner year round, because I want to start competing in bodybuilding competitions. I'm already planning on doing my first show in October, and as a competitor, you do not want to take your off season like too far. Like, obviously during your off season you will gain a bit of body fat, but you're not necessarily bulking. You're just not as lean as, you know, stage condition, which is normal. But it is more optimal to stay leaner year round as a competitor, because when it is time to prep and diet down, you want to be in a good place. You don't want to have way too far to go, and you don't want your prep to be too long and too strenuous on your body, if that makes sense. So that's basically the approach that I'm going to be taking from now on with like my diet and training, is just maintaining a leaner physique year round without, you know, going too crazy with my bulk or whatever. And yeah, so conclusion of this video: is bulking necessary to put on muscle? No, it is not. You can definitely add muscle if you're in a calorie deficit, even more so if you are a beginner lifter, meaning that you've been lifting for 2 years or less, or if you've been like detrained for a long time, meaning that you stop lifting for a while, you get back into it. Definitely you can build muscle in a pretty big calorie deficit as well. And also this applies to people that are very overweight, that have a lot of fat to lose, because you don't really need that much energy. You have stored energy in the form of fat on your body, which you will use to, you know, sustain yourself day to day. So you can definitely lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. And also, people tend to forget like that what's necessary for building muscle is protein, energy, and water. So if you're drinking water, which I hope you are, otherwise you'd be dead. If you're eating protein, I hope you are, otherwise you wouldn't have much muscle on you right now. And energy. So like, even if you're in a calorie deficit, you get energy from that stored fat on you. And we all have fat on our bodies, right? Like, we all do. So that's science for you guys. And I'm rambling right now, so I'm gonna, you know, end the video here and just say thank you if you've watched the entire way. It means so much to me. If you guys could give this video a like, it really helps my channel, and it helps put my videos forward in front of more people's eyes on their YouTube feed. And please leave a comment down below if you guys have learned anything new, or if you have any other topics you'd like for me to discuss here on my channel. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at AudiaLifts for more fitness content. And until next time, bye!